Well, Michael Vaughan has ventured south to join us in the studios. Welcome.
I'm delighted to be here, David.
Now, John Kotter is a familiar name to regular readers of business books, certainly.
Yes, he is. He's a professor at Harvard B School. He's a leadership and change guru and a persistent writer of biz books like this.
Early in the review, but I don't sense wild enthusiasm here.
Well, no, not wild enthusiasm, but, it is a decent little book. A sense of urgency, and the title really says it all. And the book goes on to explain why it's important and how to instill it. Now, isn't that the flavor of the month? Kotter's timing is right on. Whether it's Rahm Emanuel or Hillary Clinton, they're all talking about never letting a good crisis go to waste. I think actually it's a Japanese proverb about problems being too important to disregard. But nevertheless, it's all about urgency.
Okay, so what's the difference between a sense of urgency and, say, panic?
Well, that's a good point. Screaming fire in a crowded theater would certainly instill a sense of urgency. No, I don't think that's what this is about. This is about organizational urgency. How to get a complacent or lethargic bureaucracy to spring into action and change its ways. Kotter says you have to appeal to the heart and not just the head. And I believe he'd say that urgency should fall a little bit short of panic.
So do you buy that theory?
I do. Now, let me tell you a story. I'm on the board of directors of a fairly large charity. Actually, I'm the chairman, purely voluntary. I guess they couldn't find anybody else. But anyway, this is an institution that's been around 60 years and has done great work with special needs kids. But for a while, it was too successful financially. It raised more money than it could usefully spend. It became complacent. Well, for a while now, the situation's been just the opposite, and it's basically going broke. I bought a copy of this book and gave it to the CEO. Now, he's an intelligent man with lots of senior management experience, but he suffers from paralysis through analysis. I gave him the book because that organization needs a sense of urgency if it's going to survive.
Well, that is a pretty strong endorsement for this book.
Yeah, it's also an illustration of one of the book's main points. Kotter says to get buy-in to this sense of urgency, you don't just put up PowerPoint slides. You have to pull in experiences and stories from real life, from outside the organization to make it compelling. And that's what I just did.
Do you think the book is going to solve some of the issues at the charity?
That's asking a lot, but it won't hurt. And that's better than some of the biz books I've read. Now, this one's a quick read. It's less than 200 pages, big print. But, overall, I think it helps.
Okay, so final word, thumbs up or thumbs down?
David, a split decision, one of each. It's a good book. I like it. But I'd also like to see Rahm Emanuel or Hillary Clinton write on a sense of urgency.
Sounds good as always. Thanks very much, Michael.
Nice seeing you, David.